You're watching Unlocking the Vault on Mtgo Academy, featuring Enderfall.
Alright, here we are for a Vintage Masters Swiss draft, and we got a pretty decent card here finally. A Force of Will. It's the first card of any real value that I've seen so far, but let's take a look at what is in the rest of this pack. So this pack has Circular Logic, which is what the Blue-Green Madness deck wants. There are no other blue cards in this pack, so picking Force of Will doesn't really hurt us too much. Karavik's Torch is a really good card in here, but there's only one other red card, so I'm going to gladly rare draft this Force of Will and see what else we get here. So pack number 2 has a couple of good blue cards. Turnabout is pretty interesting. Killer Whale is a really nice 5-drop. In this format, he's really powerful. There's a couple good black cards. There's Chainer's Edict, Putrid Imp, as well as Mtgo, which is foil, which is pretty good. Armadillo Cloak is really nice, but I think this pick is down to, do I keep cutting blue and take the Killer Whale, or maybe the Turnabout? Turnabout's pretty darn good. I haven't picked it, or I haven't drafted a blue deck yet so far, so I think I'm gonna go with the Turnabout and see how things go from here. So now in pack 3, there's a few good cards in here too. Gush is pretty good. It's just, you know, draw 2. I don't think I'm gonna get the Storm deck at this point. I haven't seen anything that would indicate that the Storm is open. But Choking Tethers and Keen Eye Aven are pretty good cards by themselves, and if I want to go into a different color, Radiant Archangel is really good too. In fact, Radiant Archangel is pretty good simply because she has Vigilance, and if I want to take, say, the Blue Flyers deck, I think that is a little bit of a stronger card. So here I definitely think I'm going with Counterspell, although Cloudjin is pretty good. 5/4 flyer. He can only block flying creatures, but it's not really that much of a like a downgrade. But I don't really want to spend too much at the top of the curve, and Counterspell is just like that great card where you can just sit back and prevent anything. The other card that interests me is Nightscape Familiar. The rest of the pack is not really anything that we're interested in. So it looks like we're continuing to see some pretty good blue cards here. Rescind is not a bad card, kind of flexible because it's a permanent. You can even return lands and whatnot. Kravik Sorcerer is it's okay. I mean, you don't have to attack or anything to loot. He's pretty good in the mid to late game if you want to pitch some lands. But I think I'd rather play Rescind, pick Rescind, and kind of keep going down that path. So this pack is kind of the first pack we're going to probably look to go off of blue. Scrivener's okay, but it only returns instants, and 5 mana is a 2/2. He's probably going to be around later. Reanimate is a pretty good card. I think this is something that we might want to consider in terms of picking, but I think to stay on color, I think I want to take the Brilliant Halo and see where that gets us. So if we stick with blue-white, Afterlife is pretty good. It gives them a 1/1 creature that can't regenerate it. It's pretty good removal. I think we can get a Gust Cloak Carrier later, so I'm going to go with the removal spell. Well, this is interesting. So this is a pretty late Predator flagship. Considering I want to go with the blue-white Flyers deck, I think rare draft in this Predator flagship is probably the one. Mana Prism is interesting, but Predator flagship is a pretty decent card by itself. So this is the first pack. We don't really get anything for our deck. So with that, I think we just cut this Claws of Wirewood. Yeah, it's either cutting. Yeah, I think it's cutting this. Cut that Claws of Wirewood. Oh, Killer Whales wield. I will snap take that. Let's hide this green card. I don't know, I guess we take the foil. It's worth something. Probably not much of anything, but we'll take it. Lonely Sandbar, not a bad card to have. Those cycling lands are quite good. I think we'll cut this so that somebody doesn't have a just killer goblin deck. I haven't seen a lot of goblins going around, but I haven't really paid too much attention to them. So we got a pretty interesting deck here so far. We only have 2 creatures. Looks like a lot of red cards running around here. So only 2 creatures, but I think we can get there. So this pack we have 2 storm cards. We're not in the storm consideration really, but I mean Brain Freeze is pretty good. But I mean, there's a few good cards here. We probably want to grab at least one of 2 of these, being that we're in the control area. Baleful Strix is a great card by itself. Devout Witness is really interesting, so we can destroy any sort of artifacts or enchantment permanents that might be affecting us. I want to pick this Brain Freeze, even though we're not really in the storm deck. So I'm going to take the Brain Freeze, even though it's probably wrong. I get one in the next pack anyway. So looking at this pack, Frantic Search is a great storm card, really. I mean, Man of War might be the better pick for our deck, but there's quite a few good cards here. I'm gonna Gust Cloak Harrier might wheel. Although it's the only white card in this pack. There's some really decent cards in here. Even Thopter Squadron isn't too terrible. So I guess it's between Frantic Search and Man of War. We're not really. I mean, we have a Brain Freeze, and there's another one here, but I don't think we are. I don't think that's where we want to go. I'm going to go with the Man of War. I think we just need some guys and kind of go from there. Deep Analysis is really interesting. There's a Rofilos for somebody who might be in green. There's another Afterlife. Foil Ophidian, that's a pretty good card. in another turnabout. Yeah, there's quite a few good cards in here. We're probably going to get something good on the back end. I almost want to just go with Deep Analysis. But we might be able to get one of those guys later. Alright, I think we just need to start getting some threats, so I'm going to go with Ophidian there. Alright, here we can go with the Sutter Jabari, which is kind of an interesting tempo card, or a secluded step. I think we just go with this guy, just go with a threat. Let's see where we can get from here. So these packs are starting to dry up a little bit. Benevolent Bodyguard is okay. It's good at protecting stuff. I don't know if we want a second Ophidian. Mana Prism probably isn't where we want to go. So I guess it's between Benevolent Bodyguard and Ophidian. I want to take this Bodyguard. Let's see here. Scowling Haven is another blue card for Force of Will. Soul Cleansing is nice. I don't think we're going to get that to wheel. I think for a 3-drop, we might. I think we go with the Gust Cloak Harrier only because it has 2 power. It's interesting how much 1 power creatures can suffer in this format. There's a lot of different ways that they can where they can go. Chroma's Blessing is kind of interesting. It cycles at worst. This guy's nice because he just is literally a great wall. You can just kind of stick out there. I think I'll go with Chroma's Blessing only because it is a cycling card. Okay, so in this pack, there's some good black cards running around here. Power Sink is interesting. It's just another counter spell. Don't know if we really want to do that. I don't know if we really want another counter spell. This guy, if nothing else, he plane cycles. So you got some really nice cards come around here that wield in white. So we got a Devout Witness, Radiance Judgment, which is pretty decent removal. Taros Faithful is a really nice wall. So it's really between Devout Witness, Taros Faithful. I'm going to take the Witness only because I'm hoping that I can get another Faithful in pack 3. I don't really want Scrivener, so I'm just going to cut this this Dark Ritual out of the pack in case there's a nasty Storm deck running around. So let's see. Krovagant Sorcerer or Brilliant Halo. I already have one Halo. I think one Sorcerer won't be too bad. Let's see, what does this do? Reveal the top 3 cards of your library, put one of them in your hand, gain life equal to the casting cost, put the other cards revealed in your graveyard. Yeah, maybe I'll play it. I doubt it, but it's on color. Alright, we'll take the Mana Prism. I don't think we'll play it. Cut the Goblin Matron. I have to say, there's quite a few goblins running around the end here, so I'm kind of worried that there's just an absolutely brutal Brutal Goblins deck running around. So we've actually opened up some decent cards here in the rare slot. Force of Strix and a Badlands. Unfortunately, Badlands isn't on any of our isn't in any of our colors. Exile is just an absolutely great card. I really like Aquamoeba. Circular Logic. If someone is running around with a Blue-Green Madness deck, they've got a few picks here that they can choose from. But Exile is just such a good card. I want to rare draft the Badlands, but I think the Exile is better. I mean, we're kind of loaded up here in the 3 spot, but let's see. Here we get not a lot of much at all. Dax Duplicate is really interesting. I doubt we want to splash red for it. We didn't pick anything up that was in red. Brainstorm is interesting, even if it's just not, even if there's nothing to actually shuffle the library. If nothing else in the mid to late game, it can get one of the best cards in your library. The only other option really is Seal of Cleansing, but that's really kind of like a sideboard card. So I'm going to pick the Brainstorm. Ooh, foil Brainstorm, huh? This is a pretty good pack. I missed out on the Deep Analysis earlier. Keen Eye Aven is pretty good. Wow, and that's going to be worth a couple tickets, if nothing else. Cloud of Fairies is really nice. It's basically a free spell. Man. Expunge is pretty good. This pack was really good. I think I do have to go with the Keen Eye Aven though. I'll pick Cloud of Fairies. Maybe I can get an Aven later on. There's another Brainstorm. Wow. Mistmoon Griffin is really good. Turn the top creature card to your library. There's quite a bit of value in that, even though it costs 4. Foil Lonely Sandbar. Triangle War is a little interesting. So I guess it's just between Mistmoon Griffin. Yeah, I think the pick is just Mistmoon Griffin. Another strong pack here. So we got another counter spell. If we want to go even more controlling, we got 26 cards up here. There's a few that we might not want to use, like this Reviving Vapors. Devout Witness is kind of a sideboard card. Repel is nice, and if this Keen Eye Aven, I've been wanting to pick one of these guys up. And then there's an Aquamoeba too. Wow, these are some tough picks. I think I'm going to go with the counterspell though. So let's see. So the cards that wheeled were. So it doesn't look like anybody's building a storm deck if they didn't take that. I kind of want to cut this Goblin Trenchers because that card can just win a game, but I guess I have to be more concerned about what my deck is trying to do. So I guess from that standpoint, it's Temporal Fissure or Seal of Cleansing. I guess it's Temporal Fissure it is. Oh, there's another Temporal Fissure, and then there's an Enemy Dead. Man, these are some late picks. My goodness. Another expunge? Wow. There's gonna be some good cards. Wow. Alright, I guess I take the temporal fissure even though I don't need a second one. So we got a rescind and a plea for power in the secluded step. This is basically just draw 3 cards. It's I guess it's sort of kinda like deep analysis. Already have 1 rescind, so I guess we'll go with this plea for power. It's a late Aquamoeba there. I'll take that with, oh, Ivory Tower? That's almost perfect for this deck. I'm not playing with any of these cards, so I'm gonna cut this Goblin General. And I guess I'll take this foil Lonely Sandbar. Alright, so this is a pretty interesting deck. There's 13 creatures here. We might want to cut a couple of these. Brain Freeze is awkward, to say the least. Let's see, Nostalgic Dreams. Alright, that's just like an Rites of Initiation. Cut the Goblin again. Take the foil, I guess. And Carnophage it is. So there's our draft. It looks pretty interesting. I can't wait to build this. So let's see what we can do with this blue-white control deck. So we definitely want Ivory Tower. We want at least 1 Sandbar. Noble Templar, Exile, Afterlife, Benevolent Bodyguard, Double Counterspell, Cloud of Fairies, Aquamoeba, Killer Whale, Force of Will, Ophidian, Man of War. And where does that leave us? So that's 17 cards. Let's take 1 Temporal Fissure, Brainstorm, Turnabout, Rescind, and a Brilliant Halo maybe? Or Chroma's Blessing. Oh, there's Predator's Flagship too. Not even sure I even want that. All my guys have flying, really. I suppose the deck could use a Mana Prism. But I'm not really sure I want to even be bothering with I'm not even sure I really even want to be bothering with that. Reviving Vapors. Gain Life. I didn't get one of those Taro's Faithful though, unfortunately. I just want a Krovikan Sorcerer to put some threats on the board. Oh, I have one more room for one more card because there's a land there. So so what cards don't have flying? There's actually only a couple in here. Cloud of Fairies. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, There's only 4 cards that have flying, so maybe I do want to try this Predator's flagship in here. It gives me some cards to work around here in the sideboard. Brain Freeze, another Temporal Fissure, Devout Witness, Chroma's Blessing if there's like a red deck, I guess. Brilliant Halo. I think that's reasonable. Let's see, what do they suggest? That seems about right. Alright, let's give this a whirl.